Welcome to this very special episode where I'm going to share the 25 top announcements from Microsoft Ignite in spring 2021. The first one is around Azure AI, and there is a very important one, and there is now role-based access control, or RBAC, which is now generally available, which enables IT administrators to grant fine-grained access to data science teams and create customizable roles. I think this is super important. That's under Azure AI. There is also a new family of devices called Azure Percept, which is now available in preview, which powers real-time insights to edge through hardware accelerated integrated with Azure Machine Learning and Azure Cognitive Services. More information to that announcement can be found in the IoT section of the Book of News, as well as in the links down below. Also, here is Azure Arc now, and I know many of you have waited for it, now supports Azure Machine Learning. So besides the Azure Data Services, we're also going to have Azure Machine Learning services that you can deploy on any infrastructure with Azure Arc. Also in the Azure Data world, Azure Purview's ability now also includes the automatically scan and classification of data residing on AWS Simple Storage S3, SAP ECC, SAP S4HANA, and Oracle databases. Why is that important? Because it shows you again how Microsoft understands your reality, takes a step into it, knowing that you're going to have data outside just of Azure, but you still want to take advantage of the amazing services that you are used to in Azure. There will be a new data center in the northern region of China. This is brand new, so an additional China region, which is awesome. And with that, we're also announcing the Azure Resource Mover that allows you to move those resources that you deployed in one data center to the next one. Check those out. Links again down in the description. Then there is something called the Azure Communication Service, which is the first fully managed communication platform offering from a major cloud provider, which will become generally available over the coming weeks. And it allows you basically to interoperate with Microsoft Teams. It allows you to kind of like how you need a communication service in an app. Let's say you want to do something like WhatsApp and want to use a communication service so people can make calls within the app you do. That's the service you need for that. In addition to this, you can also offer artificial intelligence experiences over traditional phone lines, like an Azure bot service where I could call and I have a bot guide me through and talk to me with interactive voice responsive, etc. offerings. So definitely something you want to check out. We also have something new, which is called Spring Cloud, which you can deploy in a managed virtual network to isolate apps from the internet or place them within their own corporate networks. This lets customers like yourself control inbound and outbound network communications for Azure Spring Cloud, and enables Azure to interact with systems on premises as much as it is in data centers or Azure services in virtual networks. There is also a new assessment tool that helps you to assess your developer velocity. If you're not familiar with it, that's definitely something I would say you have to check out, specifically if you're CXO level. Then this is for you. This is really strategic and super important as you're going forward. We also have new solutions for running Java Enterprise Edition applications on Azure, now with Oracle WebLogic or IBM WebSphere, and is also supported by Microsoft, Oracle, and IBM, which is great news. If you have those applications, you can run them and you get support from both sides. We also now have the availability that you can make a Azure Marketplace private, so you can determine what applications should be shown to your IT department or what they can use and deploy. Then the big news, Azure Arc enabled Kubernetes is now GA. Many have waited for it. We announced it actually at 2019. Server management is already GA, now Kubernetes is following. And as I mentioned, Azure Arc enabled machine learning is now also in preview. Then there is also this Azure Automanage, which is now in preview, which helps you to reduce the day-to-day management task with automated operations across the entire lifecycle of your VMs in Azure. With Automanage, IT admins can manage their VMs with point-and-click simplicity, individually or at scale. We're also going to offer now on-demand capacity reservation for Azure virtual machines, which will be available in preview in April. On-demand capacity reservations for Azure Virtual Machines enables customer to access virtual machines in advance with service level agreement. This is in particular important to organizations that want to ensure high levels of availability when running business critical applications on Azure. Could maybe also be if you have a product launch and you expect that scale and you want to make sure that you have the resources you need. Going on, Azure Migrate, the central hub for Azure Cloud migration services and tools, offers 3 new capabilities in preview. These capabilities allow customers to discover and access SQL servers and databases for migration to Azure from within the Azure Migrate portal. The hub also includes now app containerization tools with support for ASP.NET and Java web applications to help you migrate applications to containers running on Azure Kubernetes Service or AKS. And lastly, the new Azure PowerShell module adds support for the Azure Server Migration Tools agentless method of migrating VMware virtual machine or VMs to Azure. Azure Virtual WAN, I actually made a video not too long ago. I'm gonna link it up here for hybrid networking. Also has now a new integration for VMware SD-WAN. Definitely something to check out if you have a large VMware on-premise space. Then Azure Percept, this is on the IoT side, which I briefly mentioned, is a comprehensive, easy to use and secure platform designed to help customers build, apply and operate artificial intelligence models in lower power edge cameras and audio devices, which is now available in preview. Definitely make sure to check it out. Azure Mixed Reality, one of the awesome things that we're doing here at Microsoft now is Azure Remote Rendering is now generally available, which can render complex models in the cloud and then streams them in real time to the devices. The service brings high quality 3D content and interactive experience to mixed reality devices such as the HoloLens 2, enabling users to interact and collaborate with highly detailed 3D content. Personally, I also look forward that Adobe Premiere or other software can do that too, where a lot of the rendering is being offloaded to the cloud. Then on the business application side, under Dynamics 365, in sales, if you use sales, and if you don't, you should, because now you can track career movements of contacts you have in your sales database based on what they have in LinkedIn with the LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which allows you to very easily follow. Let's say you knew somebody, you knew him from a workshop, but maybe he's not a decision maker yet, and all of a sudden he's promoted to a role where actually he has the budget and purchase power. So you can follow up with that person and reconnect. Microsoft also has now published the first low-code programming language called Microsoft PowerFX for logic customization across the Power Platform. This language origins from Excel, is available now with implementation being open sourced on GitHub later this year. And then let's forward to Microsoft Teams, because we all got to use Teams a lot. There is something coming like the presenter mode. And one of the awesome features in the presenter mode is it allows my hat to stay on top of the slides, for example, shared content. Currently, many people use OBS to do that trick with green screens or other methods to do the same thing. And it's gonna come natively to Teams. And this should be available this month with more options coming soon. One of the most important things in the cloud around security, there is an attack simulation training available, which helps customers detect, prioritize, and remediate phishing risk, which is GA now in Microsoft Defender for Office 365. It does basically use real life phishing attacks, but basically renders the links useless, the hyperlinks you shouldn't be clicking on, so you can run those simulation and tests against your user base, which I think is awesome. I used to work in an IT department where we looked for training and awareness with the people, and now having that at your fingertip is amazing. Then Sentinel has now over 30 new built-in connectors that simplify the data collections across multi-cloud environments, including Dynamics, but also Salesforce, VMware, and Cisco. So a lot of goodness. If you don't know about Azure Sentinel, definitely also something to check out. And then something I personally have waited for also is they're gonna allow co-authoring of documents protected with Microsoft Information Protection is now available. So far, when you have like digital rights management applied onto the document, it doesn't allow multiple people to work on it. On the identity side, we're gonna integrate with AWS single sign-on. That allows you to basically give access through that. Resources is now pre-integrated in the Azure Active Directory. Also here, another reason how Microsoft just reaches out and tries to help you into complexity with the wide variety of environments you deal with it. And there is a new secure hybrid access integration, which enables admins to connect, protect their legacy applications, such as non-HTTP, LDAP, and SSH apps to Azure AD. This expands also partnership to include Silverfort, DataVisa, Parameter 81, and Strata. Also something you want to check out for your legacy application. Also going GA is the passwordless authentication in Azure Active Directory. I think many of you have seen Microsoft has now run a campaign for quite some time to promote passwordless access to the environments. I'm a big fan of it. So if you haven't done it, because you know, it's a lot through the password that things happen, security breaches. So check it out. These are my top 25. Please leave in the comments which one were your favorite ones. I hope you watched the keynote. If not, make sure to check out the recordings, and definitely you don't want to miss it. If hybrid is of importance for you, the session with Jeremy Winter, I also will put a link down below so you can watch it from there. That was it with that special episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to hear or read from you in the comments.